Hi friends, and welcome to another video. Let me see if I can straighten this camera out a little bit. Guys, I'm in the casita, as you can see, and this is your midweek video. Welcome to Wednesday, and welcome to my Casita Confession. I've done this before, and basically I've always felt like I can just kind of get in my casita and chat. Things are, they come easy here. I kind of find this to be my happy place, the place where I can just like kind of decompress and let go of things. My casita takes me to beautiful places in nature. So why not talk about everything that's on my mind in the casita, and I call it Casita Confessions. And this is only the second one I've ever done. And I actually thought long and hard about doing this video because I need to be ready for negative feedback. And I don't get a lot of negative feedback, but when you become vulnerable and you open yourself up to the public, to strangers, you need to be ready to not have everybody be so kind. The majority, actually almost all of you on this channel have been nothing but kind. I get like the 1%ers that are just kind of like, meh, whatever, I just ignore it. And I've gotten better about it. I don't let it live rent-free in my head, right? So I did have to think about this video. I needed just to be ready to talk about it because it is, it's hard to be vulnerable. But I think when you do show yourself as being a vulnerable and individual, it helps other people. And that's why I really wanted to share this video. I am a thinker. I am an overthinker. If I was to sit down in an interview and somebody said, tell me something negative about yourself, that would probably be one of my top 3. I am an overthinker. I think things to death. My favorite time to think is when I get in bed at night and John is snoozing away as he should be in dreamland. I am thinking about everything under the sun, and a lot of times I pray when I'm in bed because that kind of helps, organize my thoughts and just kind of let some of that go. And sometimes that does help me sleep. But what I've been thinking about the last several weeks, and I wanted to share it because I feel like if it's been so heavy on my heart, then it's kind of meant for me to share. And so one thing that that I was dealing with is loneliness. One of my biggest fears in life is to be alone and to be older, and be alone. And I think that stems from a lot, and this is where the vulnerability comes in, and I'll share with you. I lost my dad. I was in my early 30s, and I then lost my sister after that, and then I lost my mom. And my mom was very alone in her life. But she chose that. We offered, move up to Oregon, not per se to live with us because we didn't have the room, but like she did come up here a few times. And we would help her like look for a place or whatever, but she didn't want to leave. She didn't want to leave her home. And I understand that. She had lived there several years with my dad, but she would actually call me on the phone and she would just be like, I'm so lonely. And she was older. She was in her late 70s at that point. She died when she was 79. And I would tell her, Mom, you need to get back in church. My mom was very much into quilting. You need to get into a quilt group. Like you need to go and be with people, and she just said, I'm just so lonely. And I think it just overcame her. And it was heartbreaking because I was a state away, and I am someone who tends to, when I feel a problem overwhelming me, I tend to shut down. And if I don't know how to help that person, it's kind of like, oh, I don't know where to go with this. And so I didn't know how to help my mom because I think at that point she was so in such a depression and kind of such a funk and just so lonely that she was kind of beyond my help. She, I think would have really benefited from therapy. My dad's death was extremely hard on her, as was my sister's death. And so I saw that kind of unravel, and it's something that stuck with me. And she died alone. She passed away in her home where she wanted to be. She didn't want to leave. And I get that we all die. We all take that journey in death by ourselves. We're born alone, we die alone, right? Whether we're surrounded by family or not, we still make that journey to death alone. And so I think that really stuck with me, and it's something that has like become a fear in my life of like, I'm so afraid of just being alone and not having anybody. And to the point it was just keeping me up at night. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, why am I feeling like this? And I think a lot of it was I didn't deal really well with my mom just abruptly passing away. And she passed away like 5 years ago. And I was in therapy for a short period of time. And the death of my family, my parents and my sister, came up. And, my therapist said, Carrie, you probably haven't dealt with this fully. And she was right. I probably haven't. And grief is funny. Grief is like waves, and it will hit you like a wave out of nowhere. And then you'll be fine for several days, weeks, even months. And then it just hits you. And so I think it was like the loss of all of them, which I felt was very quick. My mom and my sister only died 18 months apart. I think it was just a lot of undealt emotion. And when my mom did pass away, I had a very good friend at the time tell me, Carrie, make sure that you feel everything that you're supposed to feel. Sit with those feelings so you don't suppress them, so you can live your life and move on and, have a happy life. And she was right. And I did my best to do that. But with, 3 kids at the time and working, I probably didn't sit in my feelings as long as I should have. I had to get on with my life. I had to kind of stuff down what I was feeling and move on. And I don't think I ever let go of the guilt of my mom feeling so alone, and there was really nothing more I could do. And I think that kind of manifested in my own life. And I hope this is resonating with somebody. And it doesn't have to be because you've experienced a death. You could just be feeling really alone in your life right now. Even if you have a family that lives with you, even if you have 12 kids that are surrounding you, 5 dogs, whatever it be, you can still feel alone in a crowd of people. And I think a lot of people in life right now are feeling alone. And I don't know the answer exactly of how to make that feeling go away. I think it's a normal human emotion or feeling to feel that way. But I think as people, we are meant to be engaged with one another. And I think another thing that I was really dealing with is I do work remote. And so I'm not standing around the water cooler, chatting every day. And so I started making a list, and I'm hoping this helps you if you have been feeling a little bit lonely or even sad. I have incorporated movement every day in my life. I'm walking, I'm lifting weights. I'm not like a bodybuilder, but like I'm lifting weights. I'm riding a bike. I'm incorporating movement because I do believe movement definitely helps our mental well-being. It is not only physically healthy for you, but it is also, great for your mental health. So I've started incorporating movement every single day, whether it be a walk around the block with my dogs, a walk after dinner with John, jumping on the treadmill, jumping on a stationary bike, whatever it is, doing a video off of YouTube. So I've been doing that. I pray. I definitely believe in the power of prayer. And I believe that God has my best interest at heart and has my back, per se. And so when I do pray, I feel like I can kind of like release that fear And sometimes it, I'm not really good at just being like, okay, you know, God, here's X, Y, and Z of how I'm feeling. Now I'm going to leave it in your hands and walk away. I'm always kind of like, can I help you with that? So that's just like an everyday practice of trying to like let it go and just having the faith that I believe in. Um, and number 3, saying yes to people. It's so easy to say no when somebody asks you to lunch or to dinner. It's just so easy to be like, no, I'm good. Start saying yes, because we are meant to be with people. We're not meant to be completely isolated. And I think that feeling lonely is such a paralyzing feeling that you can't do anything but say no, right? Because you're just paralyzed. You're paralyzed in this feeling of just despair of how you're feeling. And so I think it's so important to force yourself to say yes, even if you don't feel like it. Because I do feel once you're out and about with your friend or your family or significant other, whoever, you do feel better because you're with people, you're communicating with other people, you're getting outside of your normal setting, and you're doing something different and breaking up your day a little bit. And then also journaling is helpful. I really had to kind of brainstorm this video, and I'm kind of trying to do this in one take. I didn't want to be all over the place with this, but I think like if you brainstorm the possibilities of why you're feeling like you're feeling, and then talk to yourself about it in your journal or your computer, however you want to communicate with yourself. But I think getting it out of your head and on paper or a screen in front of you makes a difference, because you can always go back tomorrow and read it and be like, oh, okay, so I am feeling like this. I think maybe this is why I might be feeling like that. And start small, just start there. So yeah, loneliness is hard, and I want you to know that I have dealt with it in my life. I've seen it firsthand with my mom, and it's something that I do battle daily. And I have to start taking my own advice and just start saying yes and making sure that I'm seeing people. And even though I feel like I want to be isolated, I need to just continue to say yes and make sure I'm seeing people and getting out of my house and getting movement in my everyday life. So that's what I wanted. That is my Casita confession today. I hope that has helped someone. It's always helpful to have somebody identify possibly how you're feeling, and because I think a lot of people with loneliness, they feel so alone in it. But I want you to know hundreds and millions of people are feeling lonely. Like, it's actually a trend search on Google. Like, why am I feeling lonely? How can I combat loneliness? So, YouTube has been amazing. I've met amazing people through it that I, communicate with some of them on. I love hearing all the comments that you guys leave me, and I want to create this community that people can talk to each other, and maybe friendships can be built, not just for myself but for you also, my sweet viewer. I got to get going soon because your girl has a mammogram that she has waited months to get into, and I'm so excited. I'm actually going to get a 3D mammogram. I've never had that before. So if you're due for your screening, I'm a big believer in preventative care. Go get your mammogram. Okay. So I thought I'd stop and do my Casita confession on the way. I had a very sweet viewer send me a package. And this is so cute. It's like a crocheted cow. And then she knows that I have a Subaru because I've showed it in my videos before. You know how the Jeep people, they get ducks left? Well, Hello, I'm not sure if you knew, but I was left just for you. More than a toy, I'm here to spread joy. Yours to keep or pass on. And it's Moo Moo Subaru. You guys, first of all, I love cows and I'm so passionate about Subarus. Look at these little cute cows. Anyway, her name is Bonnie. And Bonnie, I hope you are watching this because she also sent me a beautiful card with it. And it was so full of kindness and it just resonated with me. And I just thank you so much. Sorry, I think I hit my mic. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Seriously, it changed my whole day. So thank you. Guys, this is also something I want to talk to you about. I want to continue to do Casita Confessions. I think this would be really fun, and I have a great idea for it. The description of my video is my email. It's yesitsmecarrie@gmail.com. Very easy, so you can find it in my description. What I want you to do, if you want to participate, is I want you to send me your Casita Confessions. And you're like, Carrie, maybe I don't have a casita, or I don't want my information shared online. I totally get that, but this is how we'll do it, okay? This is the rules of the game. You don't have to have a casita. You don't even have to have an RV. You don't even have to have a van. You don't have to have any type of trailer. You can just be a camper. You can be an everyday person who hates camping, but for whatever reason you like watching my channel. Whoever you are, whatever you'd like to do, if there is something you would like to confess, share it with me. Send me the email. I will share your confession. I will read it word for word. Obviously, no bad language, nothing sexual. We're going with the rules of YouTube, folks. So no bad language, no violence, nothing political. That's my rule. Nothing sexual. But if you want to send me a Casita confession, I will read it at my next Casita confession. I'll pick one, maybe two, depending on how long they are. And I won't mention your name. I won't mention where you're from. I will just say a viewer sent me a Casita confession. And we can keep this series going. Let me know what you think. So again, my email's in the description of this channel. And guys, thanks so much for hanging out. I won't keep you any longer. I hope you're having an amazing week. And I will see you in the next video soon. I'm on my way to get my mammogram. Peace out. Love you guys. And I'll see you next time.